Hello, I hope you're having a good week. This week, I want to explore briefly in this short update what could be considered some spicy, contentious subjects. Last year, we visited Boston for the first time. We moved here in January. We've been here 18 months now, but there was a time last spring we visited Boston and there was a protest. And on one side of the street, there were lots of people with signs and megaphones, and they were protesting. And on the other side of the same street, there was another group of people who were protesting the protest. And somebody said to me, it's in the blood, it's in the soil. Revolution and protest is never far away. Over the last 6 months, the first half of 2020, there's been plenty of reason and subject for disagreement, for protest, for unrest. Here are some of my observations. Coronavirus. What do we do? How do we respond? What have other nations done? And what can we learn from that? Some people have very strong opinions one direction and some very strong opinions the other direction. The current president, Mr. Trump. There are some people I know who seemingly support him entirely, and they believe that he's bringing good and that God is using him. There's other people I know who absolutely detest the man and can't see any good in his leadership. More locally, Governor Baker and his handling of this pandemic. There's some people that think he's doing a really good job. There's some people that are so frustrated and want him to speed things up and do things differently. What do we watch? Where do we point our TV remote? I know some people who watch Fox News and they believe everything that they hear from that source. I know other people who watch CNN and they believe everything that they hear from that source. In November, there's going to be an election, and I'm guessing that the noise around that's only going to get louder, not quieter. The very recent situation concerning racism and how that's been raised to the surface again causes all sorts of responses and reactions from those who hold that this is an opportunity for us to give attention, and for those who feel this isn't as significant and see things differently. Social media doesn't help with any and all of these subjects, with so much noise from so many different directions. I'm citing these statements not to provoke debate or argument. I'm citing them because I believe that there is a chance that our unity could be challenged. Sarah's going to bring a word on Sunday. She's been praying, feels that God has been speaking to her about the subject of unity and how important that is. And in a moment, I want to read an extract of Jesus' prayer for us around this subject. But before I do that, I want to make two statements about unity. Unity doesn't mean that everyone is the same, everyone thinks the same, everyone votes the same, and everyone agrees on the same subjects. If you look at the 12 disciples that Jesus gathered around him, they were a diverse group of people, from what would have been professional accountants of their day, tax collectors, to fishermen and people who worked the land. There's two characters, James and John, who were known, and Jesus called them this, as the sons of thunder, because they were wild, they were aggressive, they were argumentative, they were intense. You wouldn't want to argue with the sons of thunder on social media. And then you've got Peter, who speaks quickly and thinks second, and John, who really writes favorably of himself, and that's probably going to be annoying for those around him. And this is the group of people so that Jesus invited to follow him. So unity isn't about everyone has to believe the same, think the same, and act the same, and vote the same. There is a richness in our diversity, of which all the people that I've mentioned on those subjects, coronavirus, Trump, Governor Baker, Fox and CNN, all of those people that I've cited as examples and observations are people that I know and that attend our church. I welcome the diversity and the wisdom of contrasting opinions, but unity is important. Unity is really important. I want to make this comment clear. There is a time to speak out. And sometimes people in the pursuit of unity assume that if we remain silent, then we'll keep the peace. there is a time to not keep the peace, but to call out what is wrong. And I cheer those voices on and encourage all of us to bring the voice and be the voice that we are when we see injustice around us. But unity is God's heart. Let me read something from Jesus' prayer at the end of John's Gospel. Often people talk about what are someone's final words, what are someone's dying words, what did they say at the end? And at the end of Jesus' life, there are some key statements that he made that we should give special attention to. At the end of John 17, Jesus prayed, and he prayed for us. He's praying for his disciples that are around him at the time, but he's praying for us. And he said this, "My prayer is not for them alone. I also pray for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so the world may believe that you sent me. I have given them glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I in them and you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity." It is the desire of Jesus. It is the prayer of Jesus that we would be one. I want to caution and ask that we pursue unity wherever possible, that we speak well of people who vote differently, that we speak well of people who watch a different news channel to you. Unity is important, and unity isn't important because we all agree the same. Unity is important because it is a witness to the world of the gospel of Jesus. Ultimately, we are citizens of heaven. And as Jesus said, may we be one as Jesus and God was one. One example. Why? So that the world may know the good news of Jesus. May we pursue unity, and may our unity be centered around the gospel, the proclamation of Jesus. And as we find ourselves in times where there's so much noise and room for disagreement, may we be kind with our words. May we be considerate while listening. And may we be an example to the world that says Jesus is the way, Jesus is the one, and that's what makes us different. Have a great week.